Hello everyone, this is NS Steampunk. We are over in Oakland, Maryland at the site of the old Baltimore and Ohio Railroad Depot at milepost BA 231.9. This building was constructed in 1884 with Queen Anne style architecture and brick masonry exterior bearing walls. It was designed by Ephraim Francis Baldwin and Josias Pennington prior to its construction. So this is an example of a Queen Anne style railroad station. As you can see, the circular tower on top is the most architecturally interesting design on this building. This is an example of a country station which would serve as the focal point of most communities. And it was also a social center for local news as well as gossip. None were unnoticed, arriving or departing residents or strangers, and many farewells and welcomes were sincere between townsfolk, travelers, and even relatives. Now, this depot also welcomed the news, merchandise, and mail, and one of the most essential elements in the picture were the employees and train crews. As you can see, watches were set by the clock inside the station, although legend has been told it was caused by the locomotive's whistle. Telegrams were received and dispatched way before the use of telephones, and in its heyday, the railroad station was the center of activity here, serving as a local freight depot and as a stopping point of a popular tourist destination. In the 1880s, Mr. J. M. Litzinger operated a confectionery and music store next to the depot, selling all kinds of musical instruments, including pianos and organs. In the long and renowned life of the Baltimore and Ohio Railroad, the railroad steel route was stretching deep into West Virginia's Allegheny Mountains, known as the West End, on what's called today as the Mountain Subdivision. By any name, it is one of the most historic, iconic, demanding, awe-inspiring railroad main lines here in America on the other side of this building. In the long and renowned life of the B&O here, Garrett County itself is also known for John Mort Garrett, who became president of the B&O in 1858 and led the railroad through the massive growth for 3 decades. When the Baltimore and Ohio Railroad first reached Oakland in 1851 and opened in 1852, its primary business interest was the delivery of timber to eastern markets, but Mr. Garrett also recognized the mountain community's value as a luxury tourist destination. His unpleasant experiences with warm summer months in the eastern metropolitan area was shared by many others who welcomed the cool mountains, clean air, and luxury accommodations built by the Baltimore and Ohio. So on the opposite side of the tracks in the station, there were 2 large hotels, the Oakland Hotel, built by the B&O Railroad Company in 1876, as well as the Glades Hotel. The county was the last of Maryland's 23 counties to be formed, being named in honor of Garrett in 1872. Garrett died at a summer home in his namesake county in 1884. Following the Civil War, the Baltimore and Ohio created several luxury hotels in western Maryland, billing them as cool and relaxing getaways in the Appalachian Mountains, available via train from the cities, 8 hours from Baltimore and 11 from Cincinnati, Ohio. Ulysses S. Grant, William McKinley, Benjamin Harrison, and Grover Cleveland were hosted by the Deer Park Hotel back in its heyday. In the last 150 years, a literal mountain of coal has passed eastward through Oakland. Although Oakland is close to the West Virginia border, some of it actually came from Garrett County. The largest producer was the KRAY, known as Kendall, Ream, Ashbury, and Yahtzee coal mines at Crellin, Maryland, and from the 1920s until 1960, these mines produced coal for shipment on the Preston Railroad. B&O's St. Louis line in Shenandoah provided passenger service at this very location. The history of the Shenandoah can be traced back to an earlier B&O train known as the Pittsburgh and Chicago Express, which was westbound train number 9, as well as the Chicago and Pittsburgh Express eastbound train number 10, which ran beginning in early 1918. The railroad actually had service long established between the 2 cities, but simply renamed the trains. 12 trains a day stopped in Oakland. The Great Depression brought a decline in the popularity of luxurious vacationing, and following the railroad's entrance into the streamliner craze during the 1930s with trains like the Capital Limited, the Royal Blue, and Columbian, the Baltimore and Ohio began to significantly update its passenger timetable to better reflect the changing times. After World War II, passenger service waned as America turned to air travel and the highways for more faster and convenient travel. In 1971, passenger stops were discontinued and the depot went into disrepair. However, Amtrak's revised Shenandoah served the stop between October 31st, 1976 and September 30th, 1981. And between those years, the depot was put on the National Register of Historical Places on February 5th, 1974. Today, this line, as you can see here, is served as CSX's Mountain Subdivision, running from Grafton, West Virginia to Cumberland, Maryland. Today, the City of Oakland, and as in this time, the City of Oakland purchased the station in 1998 from CSX Transportation and restored it with help from the state of Maryland 2 years later. Historical accuracy was the primary goal, from finding the original quarry when the slate roof was replaced to recreating, refining the waiting room benches and ticket window. Hence, the durable slate company put on the original size 26 by 14 inch Virginia Buckingham slate and all new lead coated copper flashings. Today, the Oakland B&O Museum, opened in 2013, is run by the Garrett County Historical Society.